All in favor of accepting our agenda as it's printed, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That has passed unanimously. Review our minutes from the July 27th, 2021 meeting. Do I hear a motion to accept those minutes?
So moved.
All in favor of accepting our agenda? Any discussion? Say aye. Okay, all in favor of accepting our minutes from this July 27th, 2021 meeting, say aye.
Aye.
That passed unanimously. Under ordinances and resolutions. Ordinance 2021-35, an ordinance amending budget ordinance 2021-22 to establish a pay plan for fiscal year 2021-22 and amending the job classification list and pay tables. Do I hear a motion for discussion?
So moved.
I'll second.
Um,
All right.
I just have one question about that. It starts in January and I just assumed it would start in the fiscal year.
So
And it probably had already started.
the past couple of years, we've done it in January, and we were following that trend. But yeah, with that being said,
Mhm.
there's.
And the amount we budgeted was.
Correct,
For
yeah.
January. Okay,
Sorry, that-
just wanted to make sure.
I blanked for a second, but that was my. thank
Which
you.
would have been the half a year's
Correct.
increases. And the just to reiterate, it's going to be the COLA and the merit, right?
Well, the merit does have the full year and has already been budgeted for. This is what this is doing is clarifying some language within the budget ordinance to specify that January date. Typically, we reference the pay plan, and the plan was to get the COLA beginning January, the beginning of January. However, that was never stated actually in the ordinance itself. So we're doing some housekeeping here while also approving the job classification and compensation plan that we do every year. at the same time.
And just to clarify, that this was all part of the budget. It's not touching any kind of general fund or any
Correct.
additional
It's a housekeeping
revenue.
item.
Mhm. Okay, any other discussion? Karen? All in favor of ordinance 2021-35, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that passed unanimously. Second item on our agenda is ordinance 2021-32, an ordinance amending budget ordinance 2021-22 to accept and appropriate a donation from the Sumner County Anti-Drug Coalition. Do I hear a motion?
I so moved.
Second. All right, any discussion? Mayor?
If all they want to do is give us money, I can accept that. It's the inappropriate. Inappropriate is why y'all need to take action. I can't accept liability without y'all's approval.
Ditto. Okay, any other discussion?
I appreciate Kit Senior and
And it's for the K9 and customer transport system for the metro.
$3,047.42. Okay, all in favor of accepting ordinance 2021-32 to recommend that to BOMA, say aye.
Aye.
That has been recommended unanimously. Under other agenda items, we have our sales tax analysis report. That's yours. Robert, I'm going to turn that over to you. That looks pretty good.
Starting the new year here with July's numbers at 1.5, almost between 1.5 and 1.6 million, which seems to be the trend over the last 4 months. If you notice, April, May, and June of last year, we noted that around 1.5 seems to be what we are hovering at in the summer months. And leading into fall, we typically see a little bit of a minor decline, but nothing major. So hopefully that will stick around 1.5 over the next 3 months into December and Christmas. But that is about 172,000 over last year's numbers. And for my budget, I would say that's about 14,000 more than I predicted. So that trend may continue, and I certainly hope it does.
Congratulations, City of Hendersonville. All right, any other discussion about that? Okay, the next item on the agenda is hotel motel tax.
with that item, we finished FY 21 collecting 219,000. And to put that into reference, we were uncertain as to how much we would actually collect. And at that point, we had appropriated around $150,000 as we were unsure just how hard the hotel motel industry would be hit and for how long. Certainly seems like they're back on track with being at 28,221 for June of 2021, which is just shy of $5,000 below where we were in 2019 for those numbers. I expect some variances this one. We have a lot of data on that is un-COVID related, but that certainly seems like we're back in business with this industry, and we'll have a better update for you at the end of the month on hotel motel.
Okay, any questions? Okay, next item on the agenda is a discussion item regarding future plans for the Resource Authority of Sumner County. Now, Mayor, do you want to lead that discussion and have the Resource Authority gentlemen chime in? And
Yeah, let me give you an introduction and then I'm gonna send this up here. Right now, if we wanted to send our trash to Resource Authority facility, they couldn't handle it. The Resource Authority of Sumner County, it's not at any of the county. It's 3/7 county, 2/7 us, 2/7 Gallatin, set up by a private act by the General Assembly in 1978, 79, I think it was. It's not ours, it's not the county's, it's not Gallatin, it's all of ours. We can't ask the county to fix it, we can't ask Gallatin to fix it, we have a 2/7 responsibility. Having 2/7 responsibility also brings with it the ownership. We have 2 of the 7 board members, they're right here. The board voted on Jim, I think just a year ago, I think for another term. Then you've got 2 folks from Gallatin serving the board and 2 from the county. That makes up the 7-member board. Over the past several years, as you would imagine, more people, more trash, better economy, more trash is coming to the Sumner County Resource Authority. We send our residential trash on another contract with Republic Services, and they choose what happens to it from there. They Waste Pro picks up our trash here. They take it to Republic Services / Allied in Nashville. We don't deal with it from there. Once it goes Waste Pro, we're done with it. We have a contract for Waste Pro to pick it up. We have a contract for Allied to accept it. That comes up for bids year and a half. I always turn to you when I have this question.
I think it's next.
It's 2022.
Yes.
So we come up
Middle of the
for
year,
bids
yeah.
in 2022, and as y'all have sensed from the number of emails I sent about trash recently, it's becoming a greater concern for mayors of Middle Tennessee. The places to send your stuff are getting fuller. And I've told this story a couple times, is 3 years ago, I'm sitting with a bunch of mayors, and they show us a map of all the landfills in Middle Tennessee, and myself and the person next to me are patting ourselves on our back because we know that our trash is going to Allied, it's going to Middle Point landfill in outside Murfreesboro, and it says we have 11 years left in life. But then the mayor on the other side says to me, well, mine only has 3 years left, you know where we're coming after 3 years. You're not seeing more landfills being permitted, you are seeing an attempt to expand them, but we're in a situation where the Resource Authority of Sumner County has worked out a deal with Smith County. It's very advantageous to the county. But if the city of Hendersonville next year wanted to send our trash to the Resource Authority of Smith County, the Resource Authority can't handle that much trash. It's already getting near capacity and at capacity on some days. So we have the 7 board members have embarked on a plan to expand it, and it's going to cost some money. We can have the Resource Authority of Sumner County borrow that money and expand and cover what they need to do. Problem is, because the Resource Authority of Sumner County is as it is, the interest rate is going to be higher. So when it comes down to how you pay off that debt service, the charges for dumping your garbage is going to be higher. If instead of having the Resource Authority borrow the money, Gallatin, Sumner County, and Hendersonville got involved, not borrow the money, but at least were somewhat signers on the loan, the interest rate would come down. What would be charged to us as a city long-term when we dump our trash would be lower as well. We would just be paying less in finance costs. That's the extent and probably beyond the extent of what I understand as far as the financing. I'm gonna let these folks talk now.
Okay.
Here y'all.
You did a good job.
Can I
Everything
check
left to say.
a question, Mayor?
Sure.
A couple things that
Sure.
you referred to.
Okay.
So do we drive the decision of where our trash is being dumped by our current garbage provider? Okay.
You tell them where to
So
dump it.
so we drive that decision. And the second question is, from what you explained about, the borrowing and that sort of thing. So what we're effectively going to discuss is that we be so co-signers on it.
I don't even think that, well, he just shook his head, yes.
On a
That's a better way. to
along
put
with
it.
Gallatin and
Yeah.
Sumner County.
Yeah.
All right, that was my
So
question.
Larry and Ryan, if y'all.
Sorry, I didn't mean to
No, that's fine.
steal
No,
your
that's fine.
thunder.
Yeah.
No, that's fine.
I'm going to want to know when our contract is due and when your estimated completion date is. So I know you're hesitating on when our contract is up.
Is it the end of this fiscal
I
year?
think
It's what,
I think it's
I think
June
you
two
had sent
thousand
me-
twenty-two,
yeah, that's what you had sent me before.
which I'm used to saying 2 years, and then I had you saying 1 year, 1.5 years, and now we're getting closer and closer. We can negotiate an extension on any contract we have right now,
for a few
but the best way
months.
we're going to have leverage is when we have options.
Have any of you ever been to the resource authority?
Yes,
Yeah, so you know.
my husband's been.
Okay.
That's his
all right.
job, not
Well,
mine.
you know, well, right now, what we've got, we're having trouble handling what we've got up there now. Originally, it was a waste of energy. We were burning everything. And Hendersonville now has a part and parcel in this place where we had to put this ash monofil. When people say we're gonna burn it, everything doesn't burn. Okay, you've got a lot of stuff, and so they had to put this they had a pit, and they dug it, and it was lined with plastic. Ryan and his engineering firm have to do tests on it along with the T-deck every year, and Hendersonville is still a part and parcel of that, even though you hadn't put anything up there since 2005. You have not used the resource authority since 2005. That's the year we ceased to burn because we couldn't, we were losing money burning. Give you a little background, we sold steam to Donnelly over there where they produced books. That's what they did. And when they signed the contract, it was a limit on the amount of money that we could charge them for the steam. So as a result, we lost money. And when I was finance director in Hendersonville, I believe our share several years was about $500,000. Okay, it was 700,000 and 5 for Galvin and 5 for Hendersonville, as I recall.
Our share of
A tremendous
the
shortfall,
our share of.
a share of the shortfall. Okay, since we've gone to actually a transfer station, we haven't lost any money. We've made money every year. But you just got to, common sense tells you, it was not designed as a transfer station. It wasn't designed for that, but that's what we're using it for. And then I think Ron, I believe your comment to me one time was it was designed to handle about 350 tons a day, the transfer station. And now some days we've got 600 tons coming in. Okay. Everybody's lined up. We know that Hendersonville in the not too distant future very easily could be put in such a pricing situation that they don't have a choice. They're coming to Sumner County, to the resource authority. So what we said, we designed a new building. It will be for commercial only. So all commercial will go to the new facility and all residential will go to the current facility. We bought land a couple of years ago where we can build it. So it's really, it's the only way we can survive. We can't survive without it. The county can borrow the money for less than 2% with their bond rating, a combination of Hendersonville and or Gallatin. We had a meeting with all the finance directors, Sumner County, Hendersonville, Gallatin, and went over all this. So Robert is well aware of the financial side of it. The only time you would ever come into play is if we could not make the bond payment. That'd be the only time you'd ever come into play. And it would be the 2/7, 2/7, 3/7. it's I don't ever foresee that happening, because as I said earlier, when we were talking, if somebody goes up on our fee to dispose of it, we're gonna go up on what we're gonna charge for people to come and dump.
Jim, was it a 40-year bond?
20,
20, okay.
20-year
I don't know why I
bond.
had 40 in my mind.
no, 20.
And that would take us up to the year with the
Well,
expansion, well, how long would it,
Probably
last.
2042, somewhere along
Yeah.
there.
so
I
it
will
would
be-
last, the resource authority would last that long until you had to build a new one, or
Oh, no, oh, yeah,
Expand?
oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
what's your prediction on how long it will last with the way the growth is going?
The thing that we're worried, not worried about, but the thing we gotta consider, we don't know what will happen in the future as far as disposal. You've gotta have a central location to bring stuff. And we don't know whether somebody's gonna come up with a deal where they're gonna shoot it off in a rocket, whether we also have a railroad spur. If we have to, we could load it on railroad cars and ship it out. There's a company that Ryan and Larry have looked at. They're coming into Nashville, they want to load it on a barge in the Cumberland River and ship it to Obion County. I mean, everybody's trying to come up with different ideas. Right now, we're tied into Smith County for 10 years.
Because I know the mayor mentioned another place that wants to probably dump too. I mean, how-
Smith County.
Is that what?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so,
we don't go to
So
Murfreesboro, we go to Smith County.
okay, so do we get preferential treatment, Sumner County and Smith County then at this point?
We probably send the largest amount of garbage to Smith County, so.
Yeah.
I would say yes to that question.
But the wastewater trucks never go to Smith County. And the way they would just drop it at the transfer station at the resource.
Yeah.
authority.
So what?
And that
We
would go
we
to,
ship between
Ship up to Smith County.
500 and 600 tons per day from the transfer station to the landfill in Smith County.
It's 24 trailer,
Okay.
and 24 trailer loads a
I'm
day.
trying to understand the
20 to 25.
supply
yes.
chain
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
right?
I think what I was hoping, and maybe what you're getting at, is that we've had some issues with our garbage collection. And one of the things that and that's not you.
We don't have anything to do
She's
with
gonna ask
collection.
you, this question she's gonna ask is very important.
But one of the, yeah, you already know where I'm going.
Yeah, to do.
One of the things that they've said is the reason that they can't complete their routes is because they go to Republic and the trucks in Davidson County get preferential skip the line. And they have to wait in a long line to dump and then come back and continue their route. So would we have, along with Gallatin and Sumner County?
Yeah.
we skip
All-
our
all
own
you-
separate line
Yeah,
where
so
we
all
don't
your
have to
commercial will
meet
be
with
going in one
everybody.
line, all commercial.
But
Where
if
now,
we ended up with other commercial besides the 3 entities,
yes, you would have.
And
we
then-
would,
and there
we would want to,
Yeah.
we want first in line. Or skip the,
Well-
like a preference
It's gonna be,
That's-
it's gonna be set up so much better.
that we won't need it.
You won't need to worry about that. Now, you've got me sitting there in my pickup truck.
I know.
I'm
2
blocking
hours.
you and you've got to load because you want to get your stuff undone so you can get
Go
back
back
and pick up
out.
the rest of your
Yeah.
route. I'm sitting there in my pickup truck and I'm saying, well, I've got to get rid of my stuff, and I'm blocking you.
I hear
Ryan, do you
you.
want to explain how you pull through in the future?
Yeah, I'd be glad to. To
Yeah.
kind of elaborate on what Jim was saying earlier about the volume issues at the old station. In addition to those volume issues, the Resource Authority's transfer station is the only location where you can drop off solid waste in the entire county.
Yeah.
So with that, you get a lot of residential users. And they're all going to the same place. We have a high level of friction when you're going back towards the transfer stations.
Good word.
Tipping floor because of the amount of traffic and the way the traffic pattern moves throughout the site. So with this project, it's not just about the new building, which will have dedicated service towards commercial users, mainly municipal collection, because Gallatin's in the mix too, on the municipal collection side. And then you got Portland.
Portland as well.
But there are other commercial people who
Sure,
would
yes.
potentially use the site.
Correct.
And I would really appreciate it if municipalities who have ownership and like, we're not investing monetarily, but willing, if we were willing
I understand what you're saying, yes.
if we can, not be behind, I shouldn't say, but Gordon's garbage or somebody can accept dumpsters from retail locations, that is a private.
Right.
Commercial.
And under the scenario Ryan's just alluded to, I don't know that that would become really a problem,
Okay,
because the traffic would flow through so much better that
yeah.
I don't think
If
we
it
would have
does,
any big
though.
impact.
If
If it
we got
does, then
different
we can,
dates, yeah.
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 Operationally.
And the way it's set up, the way it's designed, they won't have to wait and then back in and dump. Okay, they're gonna be pulling through
Oh,
and get,
good,
yeah, and
good.
it's a design to help
That's
speed up the
And that's
process.
what I was trying to get
In
at.
in the new-
Yes.
in the new building, there's 4 doors that you can dump refuse on the tipping floor. Our current situation is you get 1 vehicle in at a time.
Right,
Yes.
So just by that virtue alone, we're gonna have the ability to have multiple vehicles or collection trucks unloading at one point from the new station. And you're also dealing with a different class of driver, right? Separate your commercial users over here. You've got folks that drive large trucks every day, and are not having to deal with
me,
yeah, a normal user
Yeah.
that
Me.
drives.
Robert,
backs
coming
up-
in,
Yeah.
dumping
backs
back.
up
Yeah.
his
I mean, me
trailer
too.
or his truck once
Yeah.
a month at most, so.
It's a mess over there on the weekend, and I can appreciate that you're trying to think of a method, a better process. But I waited in line 2 hours. My
Oh,
husband and I.
Yeah, they said it.
2 solid hours.
Yeah,
And Saturday's your highest residential day, and there's
It
over
is,
600
yeah.
tickets that day, so,
Yeah.
I mean, they're having to transact.
Are you
You know.
on Sundays?
no.
Why not suggesting we should be?
We also don't want to get in a situation where the fee is too high, the wait is so long
Yeah.
that somebody decides to go up to some.
Dump it
county
on
and
the side of the road.
Yeah,
I mean,
you
awful.
absolutely.
A mattress.
Yeah.
But, yeah, thanks for finishing what I wanted
Yeah.
to start, but, yeah, because I think that, part of the agreement needs to be that we have skin in the game. We're gonna have skin in the game, Sumner County
Right.
does and Gallatin does.
Right.
And I think that it's reasonable that we get the preferential treatment at that
Well,
site.
yeah.
Because we hear it every day. I mean, the guys are dumping and they can't get there fast enough or out of there fast enough and they're missing the rest of the route. It's been quite challenging, but got better, getting better.
Yeah, they picked mine up.
Okay, Brent, okay, Brent.
What ward are you in?
Ward 4.
I'm just happy as I can be.
Well, it's been a challenge and it's gotten better. I mean, it's,
It has, like I say, you do a good job. But that's a problem. And like I say, it will be, the speed and efficiency will be so much greater. And see what you, and it'd be nice if we could say, and I don't know, maybe we'll be able to say, okay, we'll route these into these bays, but then that may throw you further behind because you'd be behind Gallatin or you'll be behind, Sumner County truck or something, so you just, it's hard to say,
So you're
yeah,
gonna
we
be
can
able to
designate you a
manage it.
line, but it's kind of like you're going through TSA and everybody's got the
Yeah.
pass,
Right.
okay? So
I've
you
had
look
that
over and I don't have
experience
the
where it
pass and I
doesn't
walk through and you're saying, well, I got this special deal, but
But
I'm
sometimes
50
it
people
doesn't
in front of me.
Right, for sure.
It's a catch
I
22.
guess,
Sure. Sure.
I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but personally, this makes sense to me. That we would help by co-signing. I don't think it's a huge risk financially for us, but I would like to have perks. It's our job to ask for perks or to kind
Mhm.
of
Well,
see.
Ryan and I were just talking, Mr. Young just mentioned it just then. We got multiple dumping bays in there, so we could dedicate one bay to
If it
the
becomes
city of Gallatin, city of
necessary.
Hendersonville.
If it's not.
It's possible.
necessary,
And that would be
it's
something that
necessary,
if it got where it was presenting a problem, if you had that many other individual haulers, I think we're gonna find that more than likely Hendersonville and Gallatin are gonna be the two big dogs coming in every day.
But these other landfills that are filling up may be like,
Well,
oh, and start
and-
bringing it all the
and-
way up here.
And you may have to get to a point where we say,
We're full.
you can't come.
That's what caught my attention when the mayor said that.
So from Wilson, Rutherford County that has some trash. We
Uh-huh.
may get to the situation where you say, you can't come,
Yeah.
which means we're turning away revenue, but also means we're turning away expenses.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit, Larry and Ryan, about the discount that the three entities get, or do you know about that, Jim?
Yeah, we-
Okay.
Well, when the Resource Authority was first set up, Gallatin, Hendersonville, of course, Hendersonville was using the facility at the time. And to a certain extent, the city of Portland and Westmoreland were. And the city of Gallatin and Hendersonville, since they were two participating entities, got a discounted tip fee rate, which is still true today. It was at, we were at $50 a ton advertised gate rate for several years. We just recently increased that to 55 on July the 1st. But Hendersonville, if they were to come and use the facility, they would be at 48. And Gallatin would be at 48. Portland, Westmoreland are at 51. So those four municipal entities still get a discounted rate by using the facility. So
What are we paying now, Rob?
Yeah.
52, it's just over 50.
You have 40,000
Is that the
tons, you have 40,000
disposal
tons per ton. garbage.
at
Is that right, Jamie? 40,000.
50.
So how much?
I think it's
would that-
52.50.
And it goes up, it'll go up 2.3% next year. Or has it already?
Not yet. It will.
So how much is that for a year that will save? Do you have
That-
any idea?
Oh, gosh.
Okay, that's all right. I didn't
Fast
put
here.
it on spot.
No, it's-
Of course, as we get into this, as we build the facility, that rate may go up some. But at the same time, the rate at all the other facilities are continuing to go up as well.
Probably
So-
more.
Probably more, you're right.
So Jim, how much are you looking to borrow?
13 million.
Is that bare bones budget or is that
It's
any
bare
little frills and
No,
whistles?
That's basically, we got the estimate, so that's basically it, yeah.
Around 80,000 or so. We vary. Some years it costs more than others. We've been up the past couple, but I'm looking at, I heard you had a different number earlier.
It's
but,
Cunningham, there's a
You said
sheet in
160,
your work
didn't you?
papers
Is it 450?
that shows you the bond,
48 to 52 and a
It
half?
would
the estimate on what it's gonna cost a year.
About 8% decrease. Yeah.
It came,
You have about
it was in your
Yeah, that-
40,000
that is gonna
tons
cost for
per
that.
year.
Our
Yeah.
bond, right?
I did
bond,
around
yeah.
one
That's
point-
why I
I
asked,
did about
is that
1.1
bare
million.
bones?
Typically what we pay.
Okay, you're working on raw numbers.
And
I'm just on the
we-
difference
with
of
the cost
typically-
of what raw materials and stuff are costing today, we hope. We've gone ahead, we've already absorbed a lot of the engineering fees. We've got that in our budget for this year. They'll all be paid before we get into the other.
How long will it take to construct this facility?
Right now,
Yeah, that's
We've
what I was
got,
asking
we've got to
about.
get the transfer station permit modified for the facility. And we've got design bid. There's probably supply chain, isn't too crazy. You're probably looking at a 14 to 16 month build time.
Hello, Gene.
Okay, so
So it's gonna miss us by 6 months. Is that somewhere?
Well, yeah.
I'd say it's probably, probably closer to.
And that's-
because of the engineering and all that.
But there's also the value of the potential time saving.
Right.
and
Right,
not
going from
having-
here.
And I was gonna ask you, Jenny, does Waste Pro know that we're looking at doing this?
They do. In fact, we told them when they were having trouble with the lines, we told them that they have the option of going to Resource Authority of Sumner County. For a couple reasons, they chose not to, and I don't think they ever did.
We get a few trucks from Waste Pro. I think they've got a front loader truck that picks up around the parks that comes and dumps.
Okay.
And we get some of their roll-off trucks, not a huge volume at this point, but.
It's about the same distance, but it's definitely faster to go to Galveston.
Yes.
So I think he told us one time like 24 versus 26 miles. Does that sound about right?
Round trip numbers.
No.
From
One
here
way
to
to
middle
here.
to
Oh,
AAA.
Yeah, I think you're more like 34 miles to trip. No, not to AAA. I'm talking about middle point.
Oh, no, I'm talking
Yeah,
AAA versus.
They're going to
research authority.
AAA, yeah.
They're equidistant. So, I mean, we're a little bit closer.
Of course,
But their wait
Traffic
time is
even
different.
though
The
traffic
traffic's awful.
between here and Gallatin is
Yeah.
bad, sometimes it's not near as bad
Yeah,
as
here
Yeah.
from Nashville.
trying to cut it.
Right.
What about the wait time? Does the wait time, did you figure the wait time too is less than there, here than there?
Oh, it'd definitely be less, yeah, when we get to do.
With a new facility. it'd
Yeah.
be, yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, what about now?
Probably wouldn't be now.
No,
Okay,
Depends on the day, really.
Yeah.
Some days are busier.
so that's
than
not an
others.
option for us for right now.
no, man.
until the
Not,
new
not unless
facilities.
we cut out completely
Yeah.
residential. use.
Residential, that would never come
I
out.
would vote against
And if you throw in the
You'd
street,
you'd have World War III on your hands.
And I'm not suggesting that, I'm just
I know.
saying, yeah.
Any other discussion? I mean, we're not voting on anything.
no, we're here just to, tell you.
And we appreciate it.
yeah, and then you can vote, I think, next time.
Yeah, we'll bring it up next time. Jim and Larry and Ryan are gonna do a presentation for the board, but I thought since y'all are meeting tonight, y'all can hear it first.
One last question. Has Sumner County and Gallatin, are they all in agreement with this as well?
Sumner County's in, yes, they're in agreement, and Gallatin is, they're probably having the same thing tonight, or whatever.
Do you have any idea when they're gonna be voting on theirs?
I would think this month. That's what we'll-
Okay, I'd like
We
to
want,
have
we
that
want to try to get in,
information too.
because the bond rate right now is very, very
Yes.
good. So we want to
Sure
get in
is.
on that. They're telling us, what was it, Jamie? One
You might be able to get
nine
less
or
than two.
it was less than 2%,
Yeah,
so it's,
good, less than two.
which is very good.
That's in growing. Okay, well, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, thanks for your time. Thank you.
We'll see you later.
All right, we'll let y'all get into your business.
Since we're already here.
I have another item. so I'll be in there.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, next on the agenda is discussion item regarding an update on the repairs to Big Station Camp Boulevard, and I'm gonna turn that over to the mayor.
Thank you. Let me state very clearly that we de-annexed that road 3 years ago. We were under the understanding that Gallatin was going to annex it eventually. Southeastern was going to repair the road. In the interim, it would be a county road. As one of the aldermen here has told me, Jamie, everybody's right, everybody's wrong. Yes, yes. And I think that's probably the case. We can all make a case that we don't have any obligation. We can all make a case that everybody else has an obligation. We can all make that case. Meanwhile, the road is not getting better. We have a lot of residents that drive on that road. It is outside the city of Hendersonville now, and as it has been for 3 years. I think I forwarded y'all a letter that I sent to Southeastern, to the county, to Gallatin, to Rogers Group, and I copied several other folks on there. I sent y'all an email what that letter looked like. Again, I can make the case that we have no obligation. However, I'd like to see the road fixed. So what I proposed was that Southeastern fix the road really before the winter. And that those other 4 entities repay them by half. So let's suppose they spend $200,000 on it, the other 4 entities would come up with $100,000. I suggest that we would have a maximum of that, maybe $30,000 or $35,000. We don't want somebody spending our money and then spending their money to send us a bill. I think we would want to cap that. Her good news got a letter back from Southeastern. That is something that they will get more information on. Talked to Southeastern yesterday. She talked to Rogers Group yesterday. They've got a couple issues, but they're certainly willing to continue to have conversations about it. Talked to Paige Brown a couple days ago. She thinks it's worthwhile to pursue, and the county had a meeting on it last week. And I think they had a meeting on it last night as well to go forward with it. I don't really think that what's going to come out of this is going to be that 50%, 12.5, 12.5, 12.5, 12.5, but at least we have all the entities talking about it. So, and moving forward on something. That's really the only update I have on you. I'm not asking you for any money right now. What I will do is when we move forward a little bit more is to maybe ask for a resolution or to participate, or maybe ask for an ordinance to appropriate money. But right now, it's good news that all the 5 folks seem that it's worth pursuing.
So Jamie, Mayor, I'm sorry. It's, the total cost is gonna be about 200,000, I think.
We think, well, we saw an estimate on it, in the neighborhood of 250 to 275.
Oh,
So our
okay.
12.5% would be in the neighborhood, I want to say that's like $34,000. I think there's a possible way to bring that cost down some. And I have had a conversation with Judy Hart, the road superintendent for the county. She doesn't really want to take it on, but at least we're having a conversation about it.
Well, is Rogers Group receptive to at least charging us cost?
That was a conversation we had with them about 4 years ago, was that they would do the work and the county would provide some material, Rogers would provide some material, and we would fix our portion of the road. What followed was we de-annexed the road. So Rogers Group has already, at least back then, has already expressed that they're willing to help out some. But one of the things that Rogers Group mentioned to me was that there are other large industrial businesses on that road also. It's not just Rogers Group, but there's some other ones out there.
Yeah.
But just having a conversation with Rogers Group 4 years ago and then have it this week was very positive that they at least are willing to acknowledge that they might be able to. So it's a good thing. It's at least moving forward.
You said that we de-annexed that 3 years ago.
2018, late 2018.
It seems,
Did the county accept that road?
So
Because I heard that they didn't ever accept that road.
they did not. However, I don't think the county has to do anything to accept the road. When the city of Hendersonville has annexed roads, we have never told the county this road isn't good enough. You've got to improve it before we annex it. We've never done that. I don't think the county has the right to deny that an existing road is their road. I think when a city no longer owns that road, it's the county's road. Just like we don't tell the county to improve the road before we take it over, I don't think they can tell us to improve the road before they take it over.
Okay, but when we accept a road, say in a new development,
That's different.
it comes
Yeah.
under a different.
Yeah, so I'm thinking.
That's what I'm thinking.
Indian Lake Road, 1970s. I'm thinking Saundersville Road, the 1990s. I'm thinking Calendar Lane, Stop 30 Road. All of those roads used to be county roads
because we annexed.
because we annexed
We
them.
initiated
property.
that.
We did, but we never told, and we took on
This
the
is the
maintenance as was,
But we initiated,
That is
we
true.
wanted the road.
That is true.
But
And
they didn't
they,
de-annex it.
yeah, so it's like the opposite direction.
Yeah, that is different, that we initiated it. However, we could have, as the city annexed in the late 60s, when they first started annexing, very often the city would not annex the roads, just the property on the side of the roads. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's-
and to
yeah.
that, like, what's to keep us from de-annexing all of our roads? And now we don't have to pay anything, the county has to do it all.
I think you're making a point. We can all say we're right. we
We're
can
all
say
right
wrong.
and we're all wrong.
This is a very
This is a very
complicated
like,
situation.
it is, and that is why we really just need to work together. And I mean, I know that we don't need to can't spend $250,000 to fix it, but oh my gosh, we just need to get it done.
I feel very confident that the county is not going to fix the road.
Will they
Chip in?
participate?
I think they will participate.
Okay.
That's okay. That's all we're asking them to do.
Yep.
And their share would also be
Same as ours.
35.
35. I think, as I said, I think we should cap it.
I mean, to me, it's a bargain because
Okay,
It's a bargain for everybody.
so how would the mechanics of that work? Would we, upon agreement, we would take on the chore of actually doing the work or with Rogers Group and they would reimburse us?
What I've asked is that Southeastern pay for it, and manage it, and then they let us know how much it costs, and that we would pay our 12.5% or a maximum amount, whichever is more. And I don't want to get in the bid. I don't think that any of the, whichever is less, excuse me.
Okay.
What would be the case of where it could be, if they want to come back to us and ask for more, that's on them to do that. But what's important to me is that the cities and the county don't they don't do the project. We don't manage it, we don't build it.
Right.
So if the
Because
project does
it was
go
theirs,
over,
because it was Southeastern's responsibility.
if the project does go over, who is responsible for the overage?
That would be Southeastern.
So
At least
who's-
in the setup that we have right now. If they want to
Okay.
argue, if they want to bargain with us, do something else, I'm open to that.
So who is? Southeastern wants to develop that area, okay? So where does Southeastern come? Was there agreement with the city or with the county?
When they were the ones who asked us to de-annex it. And it was with the agreement that they would repair the road and that the city of Gallatin would monitor, supervise, or make sure they repaired the road.
But not until they were starting to build the or finished, or not until they hadn't started building that
Oh.
neighborhood.
We were
there.
under the understanding that it was within 2
Years
years.
to spend the money.
Gotcha.
We
For
were,
whatever reason they haven't.
we were under the understanding to be within 2 years. And that's been more than.
Well, the COVID and all this other stuff going on. Okay, thank you for the
So that's just
update.
So they would be building it sooner, but they would have financial support in building it, so it is a reasonable ask. And then it's the county of Gallatin,
They can decide what happens to it.
but they're the ones who may not.
I would suspect that once it
It's a
gets,
bigger ask of them.
once it gets repaired, I think that Gallatin will probably annex. But that's between the county and Gallatin.
Sure.
Okay, what if we only had come to an agreement with Southeastern and Rogers Group?
Yeah.
How much are we would we be able, how much
It
would be on the hook to
102.
our
Yeah,
share?
but I'm not coming back if we don't.
No, I'm just asking
Right,
Yeah,
to be devil's advocate here.
it would be 102,
Okay.
because it would be our 12 and a half times 3.
Yeah, I'm not, I have no idea. I wouldn't come
Okay.
back here and ask for that.
No, I'm just,
I had a hard time obligating ourselves for more than what Gallatin, the county, and the businesses down there pay. I have a hard time asking for that.
okay, well, keep us posted
Thank you.
on the progress. Sounds complicated.
Gallatin will receive a future tax income, but what would the county be receiving?
Oh, the property, also the property tax. Because the
Oh,
better,
that's right. Well, they will get that either way, though.
it just depends how close they want to get to.
I need to stop talking. I'm arguing against them.
Um,
I'm just,
I think what the county gets is they get the road paved sooner, so they're just like us.
Okay.
Which I think is value.
it definitely does to me. So, yeah. it's very
I'm going there, get
I
ready.
think,
Am I done?
I think we beat that
Yeah.
horse to
Yeah.
death.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, the last thing on the agenda is discussion item regarding the reimbursement from HUD from the Hendersonville Utility District for paving projects, including but not limited to Imperial Drive. And Robert, could you give us a report now on the Imperial Drive? As
We
I
did,
recollect that we were supposed to get reimbursed $38,000 for the paving project.
that's correct. We did receive reimbursement within the last 2 weeks. The process as it has traditionally been is that the city will use their vendor to complete the work. And then once we are invoiced and have paid, we'll send that documentation along to HUD. And they will then reimburse us for that amount. Obviously, they want some documentation for why they're paying the amount that they're paying. And so for that being said, sometime around June, I believe this work was completed and we were invoiced somewhere around 6 weeks later and have now cut the check and gotten documentation over, and they've now cut us a check for our portion for the 38.
So from the time between when we sent them the information and they cut us a check, was there about a 2-week span?
2 to 3, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, I don't want 90 days to go by and then
Right.
we're still waiting for a check from HUD.
Right.
But if that's the agreement, then we need to, monitor that.
Right.
And then the other one was the Cranwell,
Cranwell,
Mhm.
Cranwell, yes.
Cranwell.
So we've not been reimbursed, we're not been invoiced for the work that's been completed on that street yet. So we don't have anything to turn over to HUD quite yet, but I expect that we'll receive that invoice within a week. Like possibly by the end of this week, but at least by the end of next week, and we'll be able to cut a check and get documentation over then. So within the next month, I expect we'll receive reimbursement for that work.
Could you update us when that happens,
Absolutely.
Robert?
Absolutely.
So that we don't, that doesn't fall through the cracks and people forgot about it.
Absolutely. I
Not that
will.
you're gonna forget about it.
No, you're fine. I'll add it as an item on the end of the month's committee, and I might not have an update for you then, other than just letting you
That you
know,
don't
but
have
I
an
will.
update for us.
That's right. I will
Okay,
keep it on there until we do. have
thank you,
reimbursement.
thank you. And then do we have any other projects like that we're waiting for reimbursement from other entities that we've repaired or paved or fixed sidewalks or?
Possibly. I can, what I'll do, I'll do a review and see if I can put together a list of anything that we can add and maybe discuss at the end of the month. Off the top of my head, I'm blanking, but
Well, Public Works is probably have a better handle
Right,
on that.
right.
Or, for a department, okay.
parts possibly, yeah.
Okay,
So any other projects like that, we'll get together and discuss a possible list for
perfect,
that.
perfect. Committee? Okay. Do I hear a motion to adjourn? Because we can't do anything else. With what's on that agenda.
Yes. Motion to adjourn.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. Everyone in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, committee. Thank you, visitors. Thank you, our finance director.
Singular visitor.
We had several.
They
on fire.
I did not even see it.
Huh?
We're done.
It's like behind Karen's
Oh,
chair.
Ty?
IT has to cut us.
How are you?
All right. You can cut us off. I can't do it.
Okay, hanging in there. Trying to stay well. How's your wife doing?
She's doing good. She's getting ready for work right now. I'm looking for Sarah person to work for the city right now.
Yeah, Sarah Law. She's not here. She had a death in her family.
Oh.
She's our-
is he still
She's
looking
gonna
for
be,
her? Are you still booked midnight?
I believe so, with
Okay.
somebody else, because we pretty much know her.
Is is all the stormwater drainage